Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hopefully you guys had a good Monday. Finally, we hit a first touchdown pick. It's been too long. It's been a couple weeks, man. I'm used to hitting these first touchdowns, quite often. So thank God for Drake London. We're gonna talk about that game because I don't really know what to make of the Falcons at this point. Really just disappointed. I had Kirk Cousins over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Can you? Oh my God. I was tilting last night. I'm gonna tilt. I'm gonna tilt again. Can someone explain to me how the Atlanta Falcons, Kirk Cousins threw a 30-yard touchdown pass to Drake London in the first quarter of the game? Okay. And then for the next 3 quarters of football, they scored a safety and 2 field goals. Kirk Cousins threw no more touchdown passes. They didn't even score another touchdown. I against the Raiders, right? I can't understand this. So you can look at this one of two ways. One, they need to get Michael Penix in the game and see what he can do, right? That's the first way that you can look at it. Now, the second way that you can spin it is how bad is Michael Penix looking? The fact that they haven't put him in the game. Because like a week or two ago, I don't remember exactly when. It may have been last week, it may have been the week before, but the team came out and said straight up, we have no plans to play Michael Penix at all. So on the one hand, you can say they need to take a look at Michael Penix because Kirk Cousins is struggling mightily. But at the same time, how bad is he looking that they're not giving him a chance? Because I would say, man, I mean, any other situation, they're probably taking a look at him at some point. So I don't really know what to do with the Falcons right now. They're still right in this mix with the Bucks for the division. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I mean, Kirk Cousins, he just threw for 100 yards in a game. I don't know, like what are we doing here? The Raiders are terrible, first and foremost. Their defense is battered and bruised. They just lost Max Crosby, and they still accumulated sacks. And they accumulated sacks because Kirk Cousins can't move. He can't move around in the pocket. First of all, he doesn't get outside the pocket at all, but he can't even move inside the pocket. He's quite literally a statue. He drops back and he just stands there and throws the ball to someone if they're open. It's one of the more insane things I've seen. If I were a Falcons fan, I would just be losing my mind watching that team every week. How do you guys watch that? I mean, I watch every game, but I'm saying like from a fan standpoint, if I know any Falcons fans, how do you watch that every week? It's terrible. It's absolutely horrible. So I was upset about that. Like I said, over 1.5 passing TDs, throws one right at the start of the game and somehow cannot get one for the rest of the game. Just mind-boggling. But shout out to Drake London, first touchdown, anytime touchdown, double dip. Thank you, sir. TJ Hawkinson did not score once again, unfortunately for us. I don't know if you guys saw, but Sam Darnold had TJ Hawkinson wide open for a touchdown and the first touchdown. There was almost a chance we hit both, him and Drake London. It was the play before the touch. I think it was 1 or 2 plays before the touchdown to Jefferson, the first touchdown. I don't know what Sam Darnold was looking at. He tried to like throw it to, I don't even know who he threw it to, but he had TJ Hawkinson was like wide open in the corner of the end zone. I don't know what he was looking at. It was like so open. Mitchell, yeah, I would agree with that, to be honest. Plus, just look at the size and stature of that guy. Like, he has to. Caleb Moore and Allen. Yeah, I liked that build last night, Mitchell. That's good. That was a good build. Frosty, what's up? All right, so yeah, I mean, my take on the Minnesota Chicago game, whatever. I mean, Minnesota just they can't lose. I don't know. Absolutely electric. Aaron Jones has been crushing. Obviously, Jefferson, Addison, really, really tough. I mean, I've kind of never had the Vikings in this, Eagles Lions tier, but I mean, with the Lions injuries, probably have to put them up there. It's probably a big four in the NFC at this point between Philly, Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay. So I would put it, I'd put Seattle fifth currently with the kind of question marks around Geno's injury there. We'll see what happens, but I don't know, man. At some point, it's just too many defensive injuries to overcome for Detroit. I don't know. I just don't know, like, about betting on them in the playoffs. We'll see kind of how their team looks by the time we get there. I think actually, man, okay, if I was ranking NFC, I think I'd go I'll do a tomorrow I'll refresh the power rankings data space as well. We'll see what it says, but if I was ranking NFC, I would go Philly, Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota, Seattle, Los Angeles. That's probably how I would rank that there. And then Washington 7th. That'd be my rankings. If I was ranking the AFC, I would go Buffalo number 1, Kansas City number 2. But that could flip for me in the playoffs because we talked about it yesterday, but I just don't know how you bet against Mahomes in the playoffs. But for right now, AFC, I'd go Buffalo, Kansas City. I'd still put Baltimore 3, personally. I would put the Steelers 4, Chargers 5, Broncos 6. I would put the Broncos above the Texans. I'm sorry, I would. I'm putting the Texans last among playoff teams in the AFC. I am not scared of them whatsoever. So you could come at me if you're a Houston fan. This is nothing against you. It's just there's no way you can tell me that they've played good this season because they haven't. So Houston would get the 7th. If you want to put them above Denver, you could. You could put Denver 7th and Houston 6th, but they just don't scare me right now. We have NBA Cup tonight, the final. So just one game, Milwaukee, Oklahoma City. I told you guys last week to take that plus 115 on Oklahoma City to win the NBA Cup because they were going to be favored over Milwaukee, and that is the case. They're minus 205. So hopefully you guys jumped in on that with me. I think that was before. I don't know if that was last Friday or Saturday. I think it was like last Friday I said that. I like I like Oklahoma City though to win tonight. I'd probably take a -5, but I might wait and see. Is there any 4.5s out there? Let me check. On FanDuel, I see 5. I think Oklahoma City is just the best team though right now. Yeah, there's actually 2 4.5s. So if you have Caesars or if you have BetMGM, it looks like you can get a 4.5 on Oklahoma City. I would be taking that. That's definitely my side I lean in the game. If you wanted to do a same game parlay, it'd probably be something similar to what I did on Saturday. Saturday, I made one and I just missed because I threw in a college basketball, which I should have just known was absolute cake. But if you just want to do like Giannis 30 plus, Shea Gilgeous, Alexander 30 plus points, and Thunder to win the game, it's like 3-1. That's probably, the type of parlay I would look to put in tonight. I don't see like, oh, here we go. Maybe Brooke Lopez for 2 threes could interest me at plus 125. I would look at that maybe. But overall, I like Oklahoma City. I like that -4.5. If you want to do even just a parlay, you don't even have to throw Giannis in. You could just do something simple like Oklahoma City money line with Shea 25 points, right? Like, I guess do 30. That would get you plus money. Or if you did Shea and Giannis 25 plus, that gets you plus 150. So I might like it something like that. But I'm definitely going to bet that minus 4.5 for Oklahoma City. I like them to win this game tonight. Thunder going to foul. Yeah, they're going to foul Giannis a ton. I would not be shocked. How'd you guys do? If you're in the chat, tell me, how'd you guys do in your season long in the playoffs? I made the semis in all of my leagues. So really, really good season long year for me this year. If you read my article before the season, I feel like, we had a lot of hits in there. One league I had a bye week in, and then the two that I didn't have a bye week, I won both my matchups. And Frosty knows in this Yahoo league right here, what was I up? In this Yahoo league last night, I was up like 9 points going to Monday night. I had no one playing, and my opponent had Darnell Mooney and Brock Bowers. He just needed 10 points to beat me, and he only scored like 6. And somehow we survive and advance to the semifinals. Super lucky. I mean, if you needed fantasy points last night from pretty much anyone that wasn't on the Minnesota Vikings or Keenan Allen, you probably lost. Like the Falcons, Drake London started off amazing and then did nothing the rest of the game. I mean, Bijan got you, 120 yards, but he didn't score a touchdown or anything. Darnell Mooney didn't even catch a pass. Nobody on the Raiders did anything because they had Desmond Ridder at quarterback. And Sincere McCormick got hurt. I mean, some people probably started him. He got hurt. Jacoby Myers 5 for 59. Brock Bowers only 3 for 35. I mean, yeah, like 3 for 53 and a touchdown for Drake London. Nobody else had more than 28 yards. Bijan 22 for 125, but no touchdowns. If you needed any sort of fantasy points last night to win your league, you probably just lost. Yeah, 0 from Bowers in the second half, 0 from Mooney all games. Absolutely insane to survive that. I'll have waiver wire. So if you guys are still in your leagues and surviving, I will have a waiver wire article up later this afternoon for free, rollinginsights.com. I'm looking right now. I have this pulled up. I'm looking at some receivers. We're good. I'm good on running backs on this team. I have Aaron Jones, Chase Brown, and Devon Achane. So I don't need any more running backs to pick up. You start 2 RBs and a flex. So those 3 pretty much occupy my flex. I also have Zach Charbonnet if Kenneth Walker misses again. So I have 4 startable running backs. I don't need one. I do maybe need a receiver, though, because last week I had to start Elijah Moore, and he scored 1 point, and I somehow survived that. I really don't want to start him again. And plus, I don't think the Browns are going to use Jameis Winston this week, and I don't trust them with Dorian Thompson-Robinson at quarterback. So basically, it becomes Rome Odunze or someone I pick up. One guy that I was looking at to pick up is Jalen McMillan right here. So for the season, he's only averaging around 8 points per game, but he's been crushing the last 2 weeks. He's kind of got that post-bye week rookie bump. They still have no Godwin. And his last 2 weeks have been really, really good. If we look at it, just his game log, last week against the Raiders, he had 4 for 59, 2 touchdowns. And then this past Sunday against the Chargers, 5 for 75 and a touchdown. He's looking really good. They play the Cowboys this week as well on Sunday Night Football. So really, really good matchup for him to kind of keep this ascension up. So I'll be looking at Jalen McMillan as probably my top overall pickup this week in your leagues if you're still alive and if he's available. I also like Jerome Ford. He's already taken in this league. So if you're in a league where Jerome Ford's available with Nick Chubb going down, I don't really know how much value the overall Browns offense is going to have because I think they're getting a quarterback downgrade here, but he's definitely in play. He ripped off a 70-yard touchdown run this past weekend against Kansas City. Kendre Miller with Alvin Kamara is looking like he's probably going to miss this week. So Kendre Miller, if he's on the waiver wire in your league, I would consider picking him up. Ty Spears obviously just had a huge game. So a lot of running backs I think that are viable to pick up this week. McMillan, really the one receiver that sticks out to me. And then Brenton Strange, if you guys need a tight end. He had a huge game this past week for the Jags. No Evan Ingram. What did he finish with? He ended up with, 11 catches for 73 yards. Like that's elite, like number one overall tight end production. So if you can pick up Brenton Strange, I don't think he'll do that every week here down the stretch, but it should be, a good matchup for him. I think they play the Raiders, and then he's kind of like a safety blanket for Mac Jones, assuming he still starts. So yeah, Brenton Strange is on my radar to pick up as well. He looked really good. I watched every snap. Frosty, you talking about McMillan? I liked him a lot in college, man. That Washington team. I mean, you're talking McMillan, Odunze, Jalen Polk, like just absolutely three really good receivers. I know Jalen Polk really hasn't done much for the Patriots, but I still have some hope for him long term. I think he can be good. But yeah, I mean, all three of those guys are very, very good. It's easy for Michael Penix. And look, this kind of comes back to what I was saying earlier about Michael Penix. Like, how bad was he looking in practice to not get any chance this week? I'm not going to say it because I still think Michael Penix can be a good NFL quarterback. But, I mean, look, maybe a big part of that last year was on his pass catchers. I don't know. We don't know until we see him on the field. Oh, Melissa, I just saw your comment. Needed London Abdullah over Myers or Dunze for a big tournament. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough when you get down to those 2v2s on those 2-game slates, but man, I feel like I'm at my best on those 2 and 3-game slates, to be honest with you. We've been really close on a couple of those this season, whether it be Monday night or like the Thanksgiving slate. Like we've been pretty close to some big wins. We get a 2-game slate this weekend on Saturday, which is going to be fun. There's 2 games on Saturday, so we'll be able to run it back. This weekend. What are the games? I think it's the teams that play on Christmas Day. They wanted to give them the extra day because they're playing on Wednesday. So I think it's Chiefs versus Texans, and then Ravens versus Steelers. Yeah, and so both those games are on Saturday. The Texans are favored. Let's do we'll look at that quickly here. The Texans are favored in Kansas City because it looks like Patrick Mahomes is not going to play. So they'll have Carson Wentz. The total's only 39.5. And then the Steelers, they are 6.5-point underdogs in Baltimore. Steelers have always had success against Baltimore when Lamar's been quarterback. I don't know. It's like the Steelers are the one team that's been able to contain Lamar a little bit. I'm going to pull up his game log here. So against the Steelers, Lamar Jackson, 2019, 19 of 28 for 161 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. And then 2020, 13 of 28 for 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. 2021, he had 253 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. 2023, 236, no touchdowns, 1 pick. And then earlier this season, he went 16 of 33 for 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. And he doesn't do very good rushing against them either. So, that'll be an interesting angle, I think, on the Saturday slate. People will be wanting to probably play him because he's coming off that 5-touchdown game. But he's kind of struggled against Pittsburgh in his career. I would lean towards Pittsburgh right now. I would lean Pittsburgh plus 6.5. And I don't know about the KC Houston. I'd have to think about it. Like, Carson Wentz is not good, but at least he's a capable NFL backup. It's not like putting in, one of these unknown kind of players that some of these teams have. It still boggles my mind that some of these teams roll with like just complete unknowns at backup quarterback. Like the Saints have Derek Carr. Like, why do you have Jake Haener as your backup quarterback? Can someone like explain that to me? I don't understand it. And then like the Dolphins, right? Like you have Tua, who is a huge injury liability. Why are your backup quarterbacks Tyler Huntley and like Skylar Thompson? It doesn't make any sense. It's not that hard to pay a couple $1,000,000 for a half decent backup quarterback. I really don't understand that. But yeah, so Carson Wentz, not great, but at least he's a capable backup. So I don't know what to do with that game right now. Definitely lean towards the Steelers side early of that Ravens game. Kind of like the over too, to be honest. It's kind of like a little bounce back spot for the Steelers offense after that disaster against the Eagles. On Thursday night, we have Broncos Chargers. We'll preview that one on Thursday, but that should actually be a fun game. And it's a pretty big game too when it comes to playoff seeding. These teams are right next to each other. So pretty important game there. Overall, if you guys joined late, kind of recapped last night's football games. There's just one NBA game tonight. I like Oklahoma City -4.5. That's available on MGM or Caesars. I will be betting that. And then probably like a same game parlay of Giannis and Shea both to get 30 points and the Thunder to win. It's around 3-1 odds. So that's my bets for today. Good luck tonight. If you are betting on anything, I don't know. I'm sure there's hockey tonight. We're going to talk some hockey on these streams after football ends. So be prepared for that. But yeah, shorter stream today. Good luck tonight with your bets. I'll be live tomorrow. We will talk college football. We'll talk NBA. There should be a big NBA slate tomorrow since there's just one game tonight. So have a good day, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see everyone tomorrow at 11 a.m.